Hello, I'm Mike. I'm an ex Hells Angel member. I was a member and started the Fresno charter, and I transferred to Santa Barbara to start them up, and then I transferred back to Fresno, and that's where I left in 2011. I'm chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Mike Lynch.
So the next morning, we went to an upholstery guy that was a friend of ours, and he sold all of our stuff on. And the first time I put on my own cut with all my everything that belonged to it, and you sat on that bike,
just feels different. Does it feel different?
In my case, because actually I think I'm and the guys that I prospected with in my charter, I think we prospected longer than anybody ever has in history. And that was,
I'm pretty sure Rhode Island was about 5 years.
5 years, 11 months, and 11 days. And then you get that and you put it on, and now it's started. This is the real deal. No more practicing, no more nothing. And then it let me believe as a leader that what I did was proper in that 5 years. I must have done something right. I wouldn't be standing here right now so damn happy.
And now you have a president tab, right?
I got it all.
And so you were the president, basically, of the...
Yeah, well, I was the president of the other club. And then, like I said, we switched over to Fresno County Hells Angels, and which, I'm the president of. And, like my vice president, most of these guys I've been riding with for 25, 30 years. And for us to put it together, all of our different ways of life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to make it one solid little unit and to keep it that way, to me, that was the ultimate.
Was there any challenges that you faced putting on that president tab?
After I made member?
Yeah, or before?
Well, before, I'll give you a secret. I told them all, put a frozen bag of peas in the freezer, so when you come home from the parties, you get to make that eye go away. Why? It's just the way it was, There
are a lot of fights?
There's a few disagreements, sometimes geographical, sometimes just my personality, new kid on the block. And it is like, going to a sports team or school or anything else, somebody's going to check your ass at some point in time. And you just take it with a grain of salt, because when it's your turn, guess what you're doing? You're checking that ass too, so.
Is there any situations that stand out in your mind?
Not that I would talk about, but it's different. I'll tell you that. You keep both eyes open. You keep your ears open and your mouth shut when that time comes, because that's how you learn how our organization functions. Because we all wear the same patch doesn't mean we're in the same frame of mind. And that in Richmond, you do it like that. Oakland does it like that. Fresno does it like this. And it's all different in all geographical areas. East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, Alaska, Canada. Everybody, we wear the same patch, but our problems are different. And the way we take care of them are different. So, it's all... when you represent somebody like the Hells Angels, you try to always not make mistakes. that was me. I was obsessed with doing it right.
As a prospect, are you allowed to fight members?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's been quite a few fights, right? Is there rules
Well,
between fighting members?
look, if like sometimes it might just be because we're at a party and we just feel like it. Somebody gets a scratch in their nose, so they itch it. And I happen to be the one standing closest, so, oh, well. But when there's an issue, handling it physically, you go out back when they say no and stop, and that's it. There's no weapons. You're not trying to kill somebody. You're ironing out this little itch I got. And whether it's the other member or me, I made plenty of mistakes. So you can believe that bag of peas came out a few times.
Was there any tests that they put you to during your time prospecting?
I mean, not that they would tell you. There's no book, there's no nothing there. I mean, like I said, when we agreed to do this, just get the fuck out of here. We're done talking. It's on now. In other words, welcome to our world. And so it's a long road. It's a long, windy road.
So now, when you're traveling to all these different states and things like that, is there accidents that happen on the road, going to different rallies and?
Man, I probably myself, I probably know, or why I was active, there was probably 15 motorcycle related deaths.
Wow.
Some very close to me. I had 2 in my charter die, that were prospects, and they got in a wreck on the bikes and ended up killing them.
Were you guys all together when it happened?
No, a couple times, 1 or 2 guys. The worst one that I can remember, I think, was Pee Wee and them guys coming out of Vegas. And if I remember correctly, I think Charlie and his whole charter crashed. There was we were going to the Midwest somewhere. It was raining, and where they're coming out of Vegas, they got these chili dips, right? And they go down, they come back up. Well, when it rains real hard, those things fill up. And no, you can't see it from the road. It's like a mirage.
Yeah.
So you're looking, you're going 90, 100 miles an hour because we're going to Timbuktu. Well, them guys didn't see it, and they hit, and I mean all of them. It was a bad mess. Bad mess. That was the worst one that I remember.
It was like a domino effect. Boom.
Oh man. And then, Charlie's not a small guy. He's up front. He's got fucking 15, 20 people behind him. And when you're going 80, 90 miles an hour and you don't get 0 seconds to react, you just hit this thing at 90 miles an hour minimum. And then you got 15 guys behind you. So the injuries varied. Some were serious, some guys, but the bikes, you got guys going to the hospital, you got guys that got to fix bikes. But like with Charlie, he knows his obligation was get to that fucking run site. You drove. You didn't load up like this. And if this shit happens, okay, so it did. Now what the fuck are we going to do about it? Let's pick up what we got. Let's put what we can together, and let's move out the rest of the charter.
So the people would go to the hospital, and he just kept it going.
It happens. You know what I mean? And if you're driven like that, you do the best you can. You leave somebody back there to stay with the guys and keep in communication with the charter itself. So, and then even like say you're going to a USA run, You call the powers that be. You let them know who, what, when, and where, and you let them know everything that's going on. Hey, we got a couple guys in the hospital. We got a couple guys hurt worse than that. And we got a couple guys that managed to get things back together and get back on the road, and they're heading that way.
You being a president, are you able to say something like that happens? You tell a prospect, give me your bike and you stay here with them. I'm going to the rally on your bike. Would you do that?
Yes. Yep. I've had some experiences, on those long runs like that. I went, Mark out of Frisco, who is no longer with us, Papa. I had a battery explode somewhere, and there was like 30 of us, and we're like the advanced party. We're going to go and we're going to scout the town. We're going to do this. We're going to get our shit ready for our guys coming in the next 4 or 5 days. So we're in the middle of fucking nowhere, and my battery explodes
while you're riding.
While we're riding, and bike goes off, blah, blah, blah. We get there, no stores, closest store, 7,500 miles, right? We just filled up. Rather than go back, we're going to keep going forward. So Papa takes his battery out of his bike, puts it in my bike because I had a big inch motor in it. He goes, you ride mine. He pegged me. I don't know if you know what pegging is.
Yeah, where you put your foot on the other bike.
He pegged me 80 fucking miles at probably 90 miles an hour. Didn't miss a lick. Because Papa's a big, thick guy. And man, I was hanging on, and people are looking at us, and he's got his leg sitting on my thing, and we're passing people, and I'm not even running. I mean, you do things, well, to me, that was like superhuman. You're like, fuck, but there he is. You got a 15, 20-year member, ain't his first rodeo. Get on that fucking bike, Mike. Let's go. Hey man, can you slow down a little bit? That don't come in the conversation.
You're just holding on for dear life.
Oh man,
right?
And when we got to where we're going, and I got a battery finally, everybody that was in our little group there just was shaking their head. These youngsters had never seen anything like it. Never. They just said, my God, that guy. And I says, well, he's one of the ones. You know what I mean?
Was there a lot of situations that happened like that where that surprised you with people's ingenuity and things?
Nothing surprises me anymore. I've seen, even myself, because I'm a semi-mechanic. I'm a custom bike builder, but I do paint work as my specialty. I don't like beating up my hands all the time, but I was good at building bikes, so I could do it. So you could be out in the middle of nowhere and something happened. And I'll tell you what, rather than sit there, the last thing that you're going to do is call a tow truck. You know what I mean? You're going to exhaust everything that we got in this group to get this bike back on the road, get them to civilization, and then we'll deal with it properly then. But one thing about traveling across the United States and having those kind of problems is we're not alone, and not everybody loves us. And in some places, you don't want to be sitting too awful long because karma is going to come see you.
You guys ever had that happen where you're sitting too long and maybe
a few times, a few times. And I'd say 95% of the time it worked out. Like the powers that be would speak, say, hey, look, we're doing this, doing that. And now, sometimes if it's on, it's on. You know what I mean? Sometimes we didn't have that kind of luxury to speak to anybody. So you do what you think is right at the moment that you're in,
Yeah. Now, what about law enforcement? You go to these small towns on these runs. Are you guys getting harassed a lot?